Hi, everybody. I'm Jack Canfield, co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books and the book, The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And I have a wonderful guest today. I'm really excited to be interviewing. His name's Gary Boggs. He is an entrepreneur. He is a business owner. He's a cattle rancher. He's been training dogs for the last 20 years. And he's written a wonderful book that I've fallen in love with. It's called What Your Dog Wants to Tell You, Lessons from a Rescued Dog. I've had rescued dogs my whole life, so I was really interested to read it. And it really teaches you about how your dog thinks. And I learned so much from this book. So Gary, I'm really happy to have you here. What motivated you to write this book? Why did you feel it was so important?
Well, thank you, Jack. It's good to be here, and it's a real privilege being interviewed by you.
Thank you.
I think the main reason why I wanted to write this book was because there's been so many books written about what people are supposed to do and how you're supposed to think training the dog and what people want. And I wanted to write it from Bug's perspective because I want to get across what the dog wants. And I think by Bug writing the book or narrating the book herself, I think we can do that. I think we can put people in the dog's mind and they can think, hey, this is what I want. This is how I want to do it. This is, that sort of thing.
So Bug is your dog.
Bug is my dog.
Yeah, and how long have you had Bug?
I got her when she was 3 months old, and she came out of a terrible, terrible environment. And when I got her, she had fleas and ticks and worms, and we went through the whole shebang of getting her brought back to where she should be health-wise. But I knew she was a high-drive dog, and that's what I wanted. And so a lady actually took her into foster care and from a terrible home. And before that, she came from a farmer that just accidentally had the dogs in his barn. So, and then the lady called me and said, hey, Gary, I've got this dog. You need to take a look at her. And I drove down 50 miles to Springfield, Missouri, and took a look at the dog, took her home that day.
Beautiful. And now you're writing from Bug's perspective, and you're talking about some of the misconceptions that a lot of people have about dogs. Talk about what are some of those misconceptions.
Well, one of the misconceptions I think is I'm all about rescuing dogs because I think there's so many dogs that are in foster homes and in rescue groups that are good dogs. They just happen to be probably had been placed in a home that wasn't appropriate for them. They may have been a high drive dog placed in a home where the people basically needed a couch potato dog, or vice versa. Maybe they wanted a high drive dog and they got a dog that was laid back. And so these dogs, ultimately, that people say, well, I just can't handle this, and they end up in a shelter or a foster home or whatever. And so there's a lot of good dogs out there that need rescued. And so I think the misconception is you've got to have a hybrid dog from a reputable or from a breeder to get what you want. And that's simply not true. Not that you can't get a dog from them, but you're probably more likely to get the kind of dog you want if you rescue them because they've usually got a little age on them and you kind of know what the dog's attitude is and what they're like, as opposed to getting a puppy who you never know. They're like people. They may turn out to be really high drive and real intelligent, or they may turn out to be not so intelligent and very low drive. So you're taking a chance there. So I think that's the misconception.
When you talk about a couch potato dog and a high drive dog, you talk about Bug being one kind of dog. I think you have another dog that you take into hospitals and places like that that's more of a, let's say, a cuddler. And is it often that it's the breed of the dog, or is it just different personalities within the same breed are going to be more high drive and more of a couch potato dog?
Yeah, Jack, I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think, first of all, dog breeds are bred basically for a specific person or purpose, like your cattle dogs are bred to herd cattle or herd sheep or whatever. And on down the line, dogs are bred for a specific purpose. And so, I think that, yes, I think that's a case.
Mm-hmm. So, why do you think it's so important for people to know how dogs think? I mean, obviously, you've put a lot of effort into this book, which is brilliantly written, a lot of intention, a lot of hard work. Why do you think it's so important?
I think it's important that we know how a dog thinks because, first of all, if we train and we don't know what the dog's thinking, then we can't train effectively. If we're actually going to train or handle a dog, so you've got to be able to read your dog to know what they're thinking at any particular time. Just like a person, if a person hasn't had any sleep, they're probably not going to learn too much that day, or if they're hungry, or if something has upset them, or if they're distracted by rabbits or whatever around their environment. So you've kind of got to look into their mind, be able to read the different signs that they give you to show what they're thinking.
So you made a choice to write this from a dog's perspective as opposed from your own. Why do you think that's a better way to do it?
I think the reason I did it was because I wanted it to come from the dog, and I wanted the person, the reader, to put themselves in the place of the dog instead of the place of just another person handling the dog. I think if you can look into the dog's mind and put yourself into that dog's place, then you get their perspective. And I think with Bug telling the story, she's able to bring that out in a reader and say, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want. And they have so many different good qualities that, that they display and that you need to recognize. And these are qualities actually that people don't have, or, they don't take advantage of their good qualities. We got a lot of bad qualities mixed in with our good qualities. And so, and dogs just have a lot of good qualities, and they're the same qualities that basically that makes us good people if we are aware of those qualities and we can enhance them. And I think we can do this through listening to Bug.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things, just a couple, that Bug wants us to know?
Number one, she's joyful. She works and plays for fun. Just like people work for money, dogs will work for food, and they will work just for the joy of working. Bug lives in the moment. She doesn't worry about the past. She doesn't worry about the future. She lives for today. And what happens today is important to her. She's not prejudiced. She doesn't care what you're wearing. She doesn't care if you're wearing, unless you're wearing a suit, of course. And if you're wearing a suit or a tie or something, she knows it's going to be a bad day for her. There's not going to be anything happen for her that I'm involved with. So, but anyway, I think that's probably the main thing is they live in the moment. They can grieve for a while, but they're not going to grieve forever. They know when it's time to stop grieving, and they care, they share, just all the qualities, all the good qualities, basically, that it takes for us to be good people, So I think basically that's it. I think that's what she would want to tell us.
And, when someone reading your book, what do you hope they'll walk away with?
I hope they will walk away with the feeling that when you're working with a dog and you're putting yourself into the dog's place, you come away with a feeling of, hey, these are the good qualities that these dogs have, and these are the same qualities that I need to develop in myself in order to be a better person. And I think if that becomes ingrained in your mind, which it has in mine, I can tell you for a fact that, I'm semi okay. I mean, as far as my accomplishments, I've accomplished a lot. I've reached a lot of my goals in life, but the main two goals I have, number one is to serve and basically to serve people, and dogs, of course. Dogs deserve to be a great part of our life and treated fairly, because they came into our lives 30,000 years ago. They didn't ask to come in. We brought them in so they could help us hunt for food and later herd our cattle, and basically they are a big part of society, thousands of years ago. And as they become more and more domesticated, I think we have gotten away maybe from some of just, hey, this is what the dog's all about. This is what the dog's like. This is their qualities. Let's bring out their best qualities and let's accept those qualities for ourselves, and we'll be a better person and we can serve others better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do know that when I have two dogs in the house right now, and I know one of them's mine, one of them's a friend of mine who's staying with us, and the one that's the friend, that's her dog, is just loves to be in the moment. It has these toys. It literally has stuffed animals. It walks around with, drops them, wants you to play with her all the time, and it really slows me down because I tend to be very work oriented. And this idea of living in the moment, the minute I walk in, it's like, let's play. Let's have some fun. Let's connect. And so it's been helpful for me to when I read your book, I really got a little more awareness about that. So that was helpful for me. So I thank you for that. So how can someone get a hold of your book? How can they contact you if they want to know more about what you do with dogs? What's your contact info?
They can contact me on Facebook. It's Gary, D as in dog, period, Boggs, Boggs. If they want to contact me by email, it's G as in George, D as in David, Boggs 50 at yahoo.com. My mailing address is 27 Hopper, Hopper Trail, Urbana, Urbana, Missouri, 65767. And my telephone number is 417-664-2010.
Okay. You just got it. Gary Boggs is very available to help you. He's given out all his contact info. Well, Gary, I thank you very much for the book you've written. It's really a great read. I started reading it. I just kept turning the pages and learning more from Bug. And really, really glad you wrote it. It's helped me. I think it'll help a lot of dog owners and people that are just interested. It's a great read just on that level. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the work you do. Give Bug a pet for me, and look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Thank you very much, Jack. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.